testing.
How's that? Good?
Yeah, this is good. This is good. Wow! You can even see like the fire cooking in the back. Hello and welcome to the Mara Project. Mara Chua here and welcome back to another episode of Peaches Reviews Pages, the video or blog tie-in with my official book blog called Peach Pink Pages. So today I would like to dedicate this entry to one of my best friends and older brother figure, John. Thank you for the gift. And also, this brings back a lot of memories. Particularly, I want to give a shout out to my former English teacher from high school, Teacher Becca. Hello, ma'am, if you're seeing this. I haven't forgotten about you and I haven't forgotten about what we learned in English class. So today we are going to be tackling Beowulf! One of the most well-known classic stories and epics of all time sadly does not have a known author. But that's okay because life just happens. And when it comes to uncovering pieces of what I'd call lost media from millennia ago, it allows that media to be seen in a new transformative light. For the first classics commentary of the year, I figured I'd tackle something that can bring back a bunch of memories, which is Beowulf. So I actually had a lot of nostalgia rereading the poem again because it's my second time reading it. I first read Beowulf in 9th grade for my English Lit class. And this poem reminded me of the fun stories I got to read in my classes. But this time I got to read the book individually. Before, I only read the poem as like a part of textbook and other stuff for our classics. So, let's get into it. In case you didn't know yet, Beowulf is the story of the titular hero as he slays monsters, particularly Grendel. The epic poem, with over 3,000 lines, originated in folk literature, particularly from Anglo-Saxon writings, right before the Norman Conquest. The copy I received as a birthday gift from John includes some notes, an introduction, and a glossary of names and some words. The Signet's Classic Edition was translated by Burton Raffel from its original Old English, who also wrote an introduction for the book. Beowulf was composed in England around the 8th century AD. Raphael assumes that the book was written during the period due to the context of 6th century feudalism practices, as well as it has religious themes, including the unnamed narrator, who is a Christian, and tells us about the tale. I might be butchering many of these names, so excuse me in advance. King Hrothgar, a descendant of the Danish king Shield, rules in Denmark. Having had a successful royal lineage and ruling period, he throws a series of parties in Heorot, seemingly waking up the monster Grendel. Angered by the noise, Grendel would attack the kingdom for many years until Beowulf steps up and offers to hunt Grendel down and defeat him in battle. Beowulf is the son of Edgethow, and Edgethow is a close friend of Hrothgar. Beowulf may look weak or unworthy at first, according to an envious warrior named Unferth, but he has a confidence which I deeply admire. Taking down an enemy with a sword or even bare hands on your own can be quite a challenge. But Beowulf the Brave, as I like to call him back in the day, is willing to accept that challenge and prove that anything just goes to show. In fact, Beowulf is just able to easily take down the enemy just as he had described. Grendel is no braver, no stronger than I am. I could kill him with my sword. I shall not, easy as it would be. This fiend is a bold and famous fighter, but his claws and teeth scratching at my shield, his clumsy fists beating at my sword blade would be helpless. And he could beat him up with his bare hands alone. So you already know, Beowulf rips off the monster's arm, holding out the arm for the kingdom to see like a trophy. I will admit that the gory scene did not bother me as much back in the day, but it definitely has more meaning now that I'm older. Despite the parties held in Beowulf's honor, the threats to the kingdom aren't over yet. A new enemy is out for revenge, and hell hath no fury like a woman's scorn. The woman in question is Grendel's mother, a swamp hag who terrorizes Heorot. Grendel's mother's first move is to successfully kill off Aesir, one of Hrothgar's most trusted advisors. Alerted, Beowulf hunts down the vengeful mother and encounters her in an underwater lair. I guess she's like a fish creature. Once again, Beowulf is victorious and carries another body part of this monster as a trophy. But you know, I can understand why Grendel's mother would attack instead of mourn. No, I am not a mother yet.
No.
But the nature of mothers is truly something else. I remember in my English literature class, we all praised Grendel's mother and how she was definitely a more challenging enemy for Beowulf to defeat than Grendel. We saw Grendel's mother as the bigger, more terrifying enemy than Grendel, as expected of readers when they first encountered the epic tale of Beowulf. I think Grendel's mother resonates well with audiences, particularly older readers, because of her vengeance from the love of her family. I know this because I've read Noli Me Tangere by the Dr. Jose Rizal, and Filipino students would remember how big of a role Sisa, or Narcisa, played in the story. When Sisa's two sons, Crispin and Basilio, go missing, her state of mind is forever altered. Little by little, Sisa descended into madness, having lost her sense of self and reality. Only shouting her sons' names whenever she hears a voice or a single noise, Sisa's emotions and endurance in going after the only family she ever had is another factor of what makes Noli Me Tangere so iconic. While Sisa was not able to fight back physically, unlike Grendel's mom, the pain and voice she carried were ones of emotion, which I think are much more powerful than physical strength. Sisa's character is especially heartbreaking when, if I remember correctly, she dies alongside her youngest son Crispin when they reunite bittersweetly in the woods due to weakness. Returning to Beowulf, why is there a typo here? That's so funny. Grendel's mother is one of the most mysterious characters portrayed in the epic. While Grendel was described as a demonic or demon-like creature, his mother was referred to as a humanoid swamp monster. Literally reading this and learning about the mother and son was just giving up Hector and his mom from the amazing world of Gumball. We love a mother who would fight tooth and nail for the death of her child, right? After Beowulf's conquests, he's able to return to his home in the Geats, which is, I think, modern-day Sweden, where he reunites with his family. Later, the king of the Geats, Hygelac, dies during a war, and soon the throne is ascended by Beowulf. The rest of the tale spans 50 years as Beowulf would come head-to-head with more monsters and other disturbances in the Geats kingdom. Sadly, this book does not have a happy ending, as later, Beowulf is attacked by a dragon whose venom kills him. The dragon was thankfully slain by Wiglaf, a close friend of Beowulf's, but at the cost of losing him. There is a somber ceremony, and Beowulf's wish from his final moments are fulfilled as he is buried where he can always view the vast, beautiful ocean, surrounded by treasure. I overall enjoyed reading this book, especially in full length. Analyzing the book deeper definitely shows that with the victory also comes hardships, such as Grendel's mother going forward to avenge her son. When Beowulf dies from the dragon's venom, after over 50 years in his own battles and ruling, it shows a life fully and truly lived, but also gone too soon. Beowulf, having been a renowned hero in his kingdom and beyond, has passed on, and the rest of his people are left in fear, wondering how will they survive without a mighty warrior to defeat such enemies? Despite the tragic tone, I also see this as a warning that people should not rely on one person to help them in their lifetime. Surely after Beowulf's passing, a new warrior king was chosen, like maybe Wiglaf? At least he was made happy on his burial day. I thought that the idea of burying him where he could watch and admire the ocean in spirit, pun intended, was really poetic. Death may be a depressing concept and subject to talk about, but when one person has lived their life fully, albeit ending unexpectedly, suddenly death is no longer feared. Death becomes celebrated as we honor the one who passed away. I can talk about this in detail as I recently watched a short film about the said concept, More Dead Than Living, which was released only last week, link in the description below. Stars one of my favorite YouTubers, Emily Fan, but you may or may not know her as Not Even Emily. Shout out, I love you girl! A former Vine star and nurse who left her old life behind to take a shot at acting while also vlogging, making video essays and commentaries, and making people like me laugh. Emily is in fact the basis of inspiration for my vlogs, and I absolutely adore the short films she has starred in. But I digress. More Dead Than Living is about an old cranky widower. You okay? Who is visited by death. Death in his physical forms warns the old man, also known as Ba, that his time is almost up. After a confrontation between Ba and his friendly neighbor, he decides to try and repair his relationship with his estranged daughter, who is the last of his family. Ba and Alice, who was played by Emily, get into all sorts of drug-induced shenanigans together and soon patch up. They have one last meal together at a Chinese restaurant when suddenly Death shows up, sitting at the table beside them. Before this, Alice tells her father that death should not be feared, that death is all about living and learning to punch it in the face when you see it, symbolizing living your own life. Yeah, what happened? Thought we already asked for the receipt. In a twist of events, after death visits them, it is revealed that Alice was the one who dies, not Ba. Death warned Ba about a potential loss in the family, but he never fully specified that it was going to be his daughter, who died after choking. Ba, angry and grieving, tries to confront death when he visits his daughter's and late wife's graves. The movie ends on a goofy yet poetic scene where Ba quite literally punches death in the face. Beowulf takes on death on a similar level as the rest of the story progressed after Grendel's and his mother's deaths. It teaches us that life can be short. It's up to us on how we live it. Now I have a question for you guys. Will we take on new challenges, fight battles, and emerge victorious, or allow death to consume us and live in defeat and agony? But how far will you go to fight, defeat, and celebrate when life can also bring about pain and suffering? Like Grendel's mother, death comes at a price. Like Beowulf, victory comes at a price. Always choose your battles and make the most of it. So this was a very short but hopefully meaningful book blog episode. Sorry for the noise. Jerome and I are on a date right now. Shout out to Jerome for proofreading, as always.
Mr. Misspelling, Beowulf.
Beowulf. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video anyway, and I will see you in the next vlog. This was Mara Chubo of the Mara Project and Peach Pink Pages. Bye guys! Wow, that's so fire.
Alright, fire.
Fire! Fire in the hose. Fire in the hose?
Fire in the hose?
Fire in the hose? Is that how you say it?
No, it's not. But let's refer to it as that. I'm not gonna tell you the right one.
Come on, tell me.
Fire in the hole.
Fire in the
Fire in the hose.
Fire in the hose. Boy lunch. Here's your phone.
Thank you.